military intelligence outfit of Israel? What's the truth?
Palantir designed the technology used by the Israeli military in Lavender AI. And Palantir also has security contracts in almost every state in America for surveillance using AI. So the company that made Lavender AI is the same company that now has surveillance all over America.
But honestly, rule by kill list. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's coming to a neighborhood in a town near you. Crimes against humanity, the outright genocide happening in Gaza. And if the mainstream media ignores that, then what else are they going to ignore when it happens to you, dear listener? All right, guys, I'll turn it over to you. Go ahead.
We're going to talk all about everything that they're ignoring because we're not ignoring it. That's for sure.
Before continuing, I just want, obviously, as human beings, I still blame the state of Israel and its military for the heinous humanitarian crimes. I don't care what excuse they give. But again, you're looking at a system where the plan is to roll it out across any country that can sustain that kind of system, where it's no longer analog human beings in a court. Even if it's a hung court, at least you're given a ruling and you serve time, or there is a set of processes where other human beings can vouch on your behalf to get you out of that situation.
Well, let me say something.
This eliminates all of that. We're dealing with a purely digital binary. You're dead, and we suspect it. Therefore, even the suspicion, you're killed. This is the kind of fear you put into a population that you're trying to enslave.
Murdered, they're being executed for pre-crime.
Yes.
So judge, jury, and executioner from drone bomb above. I mean, this literally is Terminator 2. This is the Terminator series of films come to life. That's what's going on in Gaza. And precious few people are speaking out.
Absolutely, Sean. And if you're a Christian, you should be appalled, because one of the commandments is to love thy neighbor. And here, you have to hate your neighbor in order to allow that to happen. Imagine if you're a few blocks away from someone that you don't get along with, but you might see them. You go to the same grocery store at certain times, your times overlap. You go to the same bus stop, and you don't really know them or get along with them, but you still, you don't really hate them. But imagine if you did hate them, and that house across the street got blown up by a surveillance drone. It got bombed, and you're looking and say, what happened here? And they said, oh, the house got bombed because they suspected it as a terrorist. Are you going to say, oh, okay, well, that's all right? It's a few blocks away from you. You think you can survive in a society like that? We ask the audience to ask that question.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's just heartbreaking. It's crazy that we're living through a time such as this, and it's even crazier that some Christians continue to say, I stand with Israel no matter her crimes.
So the biodigital convergence, transhumanism, and the control grid.
So biodigital convergence is the converging of digital technologies with biological systems driven by advancements in the fields like engineering, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and information technology.
The biodigital convergence is a change of our global society that's being implemented on citizens by our own governments through advanced technology. It affects our health, our food, our water, our living environment, our money, and our freedoms.
Now, mega-rich companies in the industry control politicians and enforce the biodigital convergence onto the public in a way that bypasses, it's really important, bypasses all local laws or constitutions. It is the beast system. And the Bible says, and quote, who can stand against the beast?
This document on this slide here is coming from the biodigital convergence standardization opportunities. This is the industry. We're showing you the industry, their documentation, their planning. They've got tons of documentation out there that tell you exactly what it is that they're doing and what their plans are. So we'll have, as always, reference links for all of our source documentation in the blog post. We gave that to you, Sean, so you can share that below this video so you can go read all these documents for yourself.
Okay, now let me just jump in. A lot of people accuse me of being a Trumpster no matter what, right? Trust the plan. I don't trust the plan. I'm certainly glad Kamala Harris wasn't installed. But ladies and gentlemen, I did bump very hard on this idea that AI regulation would not occur for like 10 years. Now, evidently, the U.S. Senate has struck that from the bill. U.S. Senate strikes AI regulation ban.
So what we're going to show you is that the biodigital convergence, this plan and all the technologies that go with it, it supersedes. It's been played out for decades. We're looking at a much bigger plan. So we're not in one particular political party. We're not speaking about one particular president or leader. We're showing you the bird's eye view over decades of how this plan has been carried out, passed on from one administration to the next, because it's a much bigger plan. Back to the biodigital convergence, the source of the information, where we're getting all this information that we're showing you, and much of the terminology that we use in our presentations is coming from the emerging technology industry, which encompasses governments, universities, scientists, medical professionals, and engineers around the world.
So who's in charge of the biodigital convergence? The International Organization for Standardization, ISO, and International Electrotechnical Commission, IEC, develops, maintains, and promotes standards for this field, similar to the IEEE that we mentioned in previous presentations.
Also, Policy Horizons Canada, they've been spearheading Canada's strategic foresight work and policy dialogue on the topic of biodigital convergence. And the Israel Innovative Authority is the public agency that's spearheading efforts to establish Israel as a global hub for biodigital convergence. Emerging tech is a multi-trillion-dollar industry with limitless amounts of money and power to push forward the biodigital convergence, which again is why we call it the beast system. This document that you're looking at here, this graph, this is coming from one of the documents that is put out by the emerging tech industry, a standard journey for biodigital convergence from the IEC. The biodigital convergence encompasses a large variety of advanced technologies that are at their core the very definition of transhumanism. They are technologies of mass surveillance and control over our physical bodies, control over our actions and behaviors, control over our living spaces, our food supply, our atmosphere, in effect, population control. Now, this is just a limited list of some of the emerging technologies that are part of the biodigital convergence.
Again, what we're talking about here is taking all these different technologies from different industries and bringing it into this beast system. So we're talking about mass data collection through the actions of what Doge did through the data coup, free AIs that are available that the public will use for free, but it's actually also being used to train the AI, data centers, new health ecosystem, wearables, cyber interface, injectables, the vaccines, agentic AI, autonomous weapon systems like the Palantir and Golden Dome.
Farmageddon, the great poisoning, attack on dietary protein supply, biosludge, 15-minute cities, cognitive cities, border control, digital concentration camps, biometric ID, real ID, programmable digital currencies, and social credit systems, media conglomerate, propaganda, cognitive warfare, and mind control technology.